The Roman legions, the most feared fighting force in the ancient world, were renowned for their discipline, tactics, and sheer destructive power. Yet what if they had faced an opponent that gave them more than they could handle? The Zulu warriors were known for their incredible fighting spirit, military genius, and the uncanny ability to predict and counter their opponent's moves. So how would these two legendary fighting forces have fared against one another? Let's find out. But before we begin, let us tell you why this matchup is so fascinating. Rome was a sprawling empire that stretched from the Atlantic Ocean to the Middle East and North Africa. At its peak, it encompassed territories like Spain, France, Britain, Greece, and Egypt. This vast realm was protected and expanded by the Roman army, one of the most formidable fighting forces in history. Their legions were composed of elite soldiers who underwent rigorous training and were equipped with advanced weaponry of the time. Discipline and adherence to strategy were key elements of their success. Rome's military strength enabled them to dominate and rule over diverse regions and peoples. But what if they had encountered a warrior culture whose strategies rivaled their own? Enter the Zulu kingdom, located in what is today South Africa. The Zulu people were known for their military genius and fighting prowess. During the reign of Shaka Zulu in the early 19th century, the Zulu kingdom flourished into a powerful state. Shaka implemented innovative military strategies and tactics that turned his warriors into an unstoppable force. His reforms included the introduction of a new weapon, the short stabbing spear, and the use of a circular formation known as the bullhorn. This tactic allowed the Zulus to encircle and maneuver around their opponents, overwhelming them from all sides. The Zulus' deep knowledge of their environment and their fierce determination made them incredibly resilient and adaptable fighters. They were masters of guerrilla warfare, utilizing hit-and-run tactics that caught their enemies off guard. Now let us explore the reasons why the Roman legions might not have been able to conquer the Zulu kingdom. Firstly, the Roman legions, despite their strength and discipline, were primarily a linear fighting force. Their tactics revolved around formations such as the manipular system, which emphasized depth over width. This approach was effective against opponents who also relied on direct frontal assaults. However, it left them vulnerable to the Zulus' flanking maneuvers, and their short stabbing spears proved deadly in close-quarters combat. Moreover, the legion's heavy armor, while offering great protection, could become a disadvantage in hot climates. The Zulus' knowledge of the terrain and their light, flexible attire made them far more comfortable in the environment. Another reason is the difference in fighting styles. The Roman legions employed a standardized method of warfare that relied on discipline and adherence to orders. While this was highly effective, it lacked the element of surprise. The Zulu warriors, on the other hand, were known for their adaptability and improvisation. Their military genius lay in their ability to assess the battlefield, react quickly, and exploit any advantage. This fluid approach allowed them to throw their opponents off balance and execute surprise attacks with devastating effect. Furthermore, the Zulus had a significant advantage in numbers. The Zulu kingdom at its peak boasted an army of around 40,000 warriors, far larger than any single Roman legion. In fact, during the Anglo-Zulu War of 1879, a Zulu MP or battle force numbered around 20,000 men, making them numerically superior to the British forces who had access to modern firearms. Now, while the Romans were known for their discipline and organization, the Zulus' sheer numbers could have easily overwhelmed them. Additionally, the disparity in weaponry could have played a significant role. The Roman soldiers were typically equipped with a sword, a dagger, a shield, and a helmet. Some also carried javelins or pila, which were used to disrupt enemy formations before close combat. While these weapons were effective against the enemies of Rome, they would be practically useless against the Zulu warriors. Zulu warriors were armed with the short stabbing spear, a weapon specifically designed for close combat and ideal for the Zulus' preferred fighting style. It had a sharp point that could pierce armor and a short blade for quick thrusting and slashing movements. They were also proficient in using the oxtail shield, a large rectangular shield made of wood and cowhide that could be used for both defense and offense. This combination of weapons and fighting styles would have posed a significant challenge for the Roman legions. Moreover, the Zulus' military tactics, including the famous bullhorn formation, were specifically designed to counter the weaknesses of their opponents. The bullhorn formation, also known as the crescent moon formation, is a brilliant tactical innovation by Shaka Zulu. It consisted of two groups of warriors forming a circle with a small gap in the front, resembling a bull's horns. When attacking, the Zulus would use the flanking maneuver, exploiting their numerical superiority to surround their opponents and attack them from multiple angles. The short stabbing spears were particularly effective in this formation, allowing the Zulus to keep their distance while inflicting maximum damage. This tactic would have been a nightmare for the Roman legions, who were accustomed to facing opponents head-on and were ill-prepared for such a maneuver. So what if a Roman legion had faced a Zulu army in full battle? The outcome would likely depend on several factors, including the specific tactics employed by each side and the leadership of their respective commanders. However, given the advantages held by the Zulu warriors in terms of numbers, terrain knowledge, fighting style, and weaponry, it's possible that a Roman legion could have been defeated. Such a clash would have been a testament to the military genius of the Zulu kingdom and a reminder that even the most formidable fighting forces can be conquered through innovative tactics and strategies. The Zulus' victory over the British in the Anglo-Zulu War, particularly at the Battle of Rooks Drift, serves as an example of their military prowess. Despite being vastly outnumbered, the Zulus successfully defended a mission, inflicting heavy casualties on the British. This victory showcased their courage, discipline, and tactical brilliance, proving that they were more than a match for some of the most powerful armies of their time. However, it's important to acknowledge that history is filled with numerous examples of smaller, less technologically advanced cultures prevailing against seemingly stronger opponents. The Battle of Karansabez, between the Kingdom of Hungary and the Ottoman Empire in 1664, is a prime example. Despite being outnumbered and facing a more technologically advanced enemy, the Hungarians triumphed due to their superior military tactics and utilization of the terrain. Similarly, the Greek victory over the Persians at the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC, where a small force of Athenian hoplites defeated a massive Persian army, is another testament to the role of tactics and strategy in determining the outcome of battles. In both cases, the victories were achieved by exploiting the weaknesses of the opponents while capitalizing on the strengths of the defending forces. Likewise, a Zulu victory over a Roman legion could have been achieved by utilizing the strengths of the Zulu warriors, such as their numbers, terrain, knowledge, and fighting style, while exploiting any weaknesses in the Roman legion's tactics or equipment. Despite the potential for a Zulu victory, it's essential to recognize the strengths of the Roman legions. The Romans were known for their discipline, engineering skills, and adaptability in various terrains. Their military infrastructure, including roads and fortifications, enabled them to project power across vast distances, and their siege warfare tactics were particularly formidable. The Roman legion's ability to adapt to different terrains and climates also played a significant role in their success. They had experience fighting in diverse environments, from the deserts of North Africa to the forests of Northern Europe. However, the Romans' greatest strength, their adaptability, could also be their weakness. As they encountered new cultures and opponents, they often adopted and incorporated new tactics, technologies, and ideas into their military practices. For instance, the Romans learned how to use siege towers from the Greeks and developed their own advanced siege engines. While this adaptability helped the Romans conquer and control diverse territories, it could also lead to fragmentation and internal conflict. Rome's vast empire encompassed numerous provinces and territories, each with its own distinct culture and inhabitants. As Rome expanded, it encountered various peoples and cultures, each with their own customs, beliefs, and ways of life. The Romans' policy towards these cultures varied throughout their history, ranging from assimilation and cultural exchange to outright suppression and exploitation. The diversity within the empire contributed to its richness and prosperity, but it also presented challenges in terms of administration, taxation, and maintaining order and stability. One significant challenge for Rome was balancing the interests of the diverse populations within its empire. The vast size and diversity of the Roman Empire posed significant administrative and logistical challenges. Effectively governing such a vast territory required efficient systems of administration, communication, and transportation. As we conclude this exploration into the clash between the Roman legions and the Zulu warriors, it's clear that the outcome of such a battle would have been a true test of military tactics and strategic prowess. Both the Romans and the Zulus were formidable forces with unique strengths and fighting styles. While the Romans may have had the upper hand in terms of technology and equipment, the Zulus' numbers, terrain, knowledge, and military genius could have easily turned the tide of battle. Ultimately, this hypothetical clash serves as a reminder that military success is not solely determined by the strength of one's army, but also by the skill and intelligence of their commanders and the adaptability of their tactics and strategies. So what do you think? How do you think the battle between the Roman legions and the Zulu warriors would have unfolded? Share your thoughts below. Don't forget to stay tuned for more captivating historical insights.